G'day. That's not what I want. Where am I? I'm on that. Okay. I started off the other day. I got a laptop given to me to start off Windows 10. It was a brand new laptop, a HP laptop, and it supposedly got Windows 10 pre-installed. But of course, because it's pre-installed doesn't mean that you can just grab it and start using it. So it has to go through some sort of install process. So I did that, switched it all on, followed all the bouncing ball, went along until I got to this screen. Okay, it's missing at the top there. Also, I can't show the top of it. It says sign in with your Microsoft account. All right, didn't have a Microsoft account. All right, so it says, as it says there, if you've got to have you had sign in and go, etc., etc. Good news, you already use 365. You already got you already use Office 365, Xbox, OneDrive, all those other things. You have a Microsoft account. Well, I don't use those things. But this important thing is this bit here. If you prefer not to have a Microsoft account associated with your device, you can remove it. Finish going through the Windows setup, then select the Start button and go to Settings, Accounts, Your Information, and select Sign in with a local account instead. Well, that's all very well, but you can't go anywhere else here. That's some sort of a clock thing. I don't know. Let's turn the volume up and down. This to change the keyboard. There's nothing else on this screen. And by the way, this is just a camera shot I took on my phone of the screen that came up. There's nowhere else on the screen that lets you go. I've even backed out of it, went into it a couple of times, looked at things up on the internet, and they said, oh, yeah, you can set up without a Microsoft account. You just got to set up one account and then do something else. Basically, you got to set up an account, right? So I did that. So first of all, I went through and said, righto, I don't have a Microsoft account, so I have to set up a Microsoft account. To set up a Microsoft account, you need an email address, right? Okay, when you put in an email address, then my email address or a phone number. So I thought I won't use an email address, I'll use a phone number. Put in a phone number, and then it said it's going to send a certain code to that phone number. The number I put in was a landline number. I was obviously not going to be able to send a code to a landline number. Okay, so that didn't work. I probably could have put in my own private phone number, but I was doing this for somebody else and I didn't want to do that. Okay, so I backed out of that. The next thing I did was go in and thought, oh, I won't use my normal email address. I'll use a fake one that I've got, right? Well, not a fake one, it's a real email address, but it's one I don't use very often. When I put in that, and then it said put in a password. So I made up a password, put it in, and it says, this is not right. The password's not right. So what they're basically saying is if you put in an email address, you've also got to put in the password to that email address, which means they have access to all your emails. Okay? Well, I suppose the operating system does have access to all your emails somehow anyway. So it means that's what it is nowadays. If you don't want any, and they've also got a privacy statement, but it's not private when you can't do any of these things. So I thought, this is not the right way around of doing things. So I looked on the internet and found there were situations where it said, oh, you can set up an account set up a Windows 10 without actually setting up a Microsoft account. But everything I read said there were some other things available on the screen. Nothing I had on it. I don't know if it uses a different version or whatever. Anyway, today I walked around a little bit more and found some more information, and I found this. Where are we? Where's there? That one there. Okay. Which one was it? Probably that one. Okay, how to set up and configure Windows 10. All right. And it talked about local account, etc. All right. It says now we arrive at the screen. It says, on this statement, it says, Windows 10 offers two methods of signing in, local account and Microsoft account. Windows 10 setup only provides the option to set up a Microsoft account if you are connected to the internet. But what it doesn't say is you cannot, and it says if you're not connected to one, setup will default to a local account. But when I first started it, it said, first thing it said was, you want to connect to the internet? And I allowed it to connect to my Wi-Fi at home, connected to the internet. Obviously, might have downloaded a few things, I don't know. But didn't say that anywhere that if I don't want to set up a Microsoft account, I can do so by not connecting to the internet. So that's how it is. That's how it's left. So I did set up a Microsoft account, and then I went into the screen here, this thing that it says to do here. Where is it? It says, if you prefer, go into settings, accounts, your information, and sign in with a local account, which I did, right? I signed in with a local account. The point being, though, the Microsoft account still has my password for the email address I set up. And also, the operating system itself knows that this setting for a non-Microsoft account, or what they call local account, is what they say. If you prefer not to have a Microsoft account, you can remove it and set up account settings, more information, sign with a local account. A local account, right? Even though you've got a local account, Microsoft still know that local account is linked to this Microsoft account, so they still get all the information from you anyway. So not really happy, Jan, I suppose. So that's about it. So I thought I'd just have my bit of a rant about that. If anybody, and I suppose I could have, if I had known beforehand, like information is power, had I known beforehand, I wouldn't have connected to the internet, and I could have just set up the local account, and they would know nothing. But they know something now. And little bits of information means they can get more bits of information. As someone said, the product is you. They give away Windows to 10 supposedly, but you are their product. They have information about you. They sell that to other people. That's it. See you later. Bye, I think. I have to disconnect. Go stop it.